Black people, black people, black people, black people, black people, black people. Okay, so Black Box is a movie that just actually recently came out on Amazon Prime, and it is another Blumhouse property, and it tells the tale after losing his wife and his memories in a car accident. A single father undergoes an antagonizing experimental treatment that causes him to question who he really is. And for the most part, this movie is filled with relatively unknowns. The biggest name that you're actually going to know from this cast is the great Phylicia Rashad. She plays a neuroscientist named Dr. Brooks. But this movie is following the character of Nolan Wright, who's played by Mamadou Athie. And the only thing I've really seen him in is a movie that came out earlier this year. It's called Underground. I actually reviewed it, and I'm just like, wow, this movie came out this year. Like, it seems so long ago because there's just been so much happening in 2020. Like, my God. Because for the most part, with the exception of Phylicia Rashad, this movie was filled with so many relatively unknown actors. You didn't really know what you were going to be in store with this movie. But yeah, overall, I would say the acting for this movie was pretty damn good, and it was the compelling performances that really kept me invested in the story. Now, backing up just a little bit, this movie was written and directed by a man named Emmanuel Osei Cowafor Jr., and based on his IMDb page, this is actually the first feature-length movie that he's actually written and directed. And yeah, overall, I like this movie, and I had a good time watching it. Going back to the performances really sold this movie, and one of my favorite characters in the entire movie was actually this little girl whose name is Amanda Christine. She plays the character of Ava Wright, who's Nolan's daughter. This little girl was so cute. Like I mentioned, the character of Nolan, who is her father, he pretty much lost all of his memories. So with that, his daughter, who couldn't have been older than 10 years old, she basically had to take on the role of the parent. She had to remind her father how to get to her school. She had to remind him to eat dinner. She had to cook dinner for them. She also had to prep him for a job interview and tell him things that he could and couldn't do. Again, she took on the role of the parent, and I completely believed her, and my heart not only broke for her in the fact that she was this young child who essentially is having her childhood taken away because she has to play the parent, but throughout the entire movie I was rooting for her to get her father back. Now, with that said, this movie is labeled as a science fiction horror, and going back to the premise with Nolan losing his memories, like I mentioned, Phylicia Rashad is playing a neuroscientist. She's the character that's helping him get his memories back, and she hooks him up to this machine called the Black Box, hence the title of the movie. And I thought the sequences when he was in the Black Box, I thought those were very interesting, and I really enjoyed watching those scenes. Now, with that said though, I do kind of feel like maybe Emmanuel probably wanted to push this movie more to rated R, but perhaps he wasn't allowed, because I felt like this movie could have went way further with the science fiction horror aspect than they did. And then of course also with these types of movies, and then just based on the synopsis, you know there's going to be some type of twist, and in many ways you could kind of see the twist coming. Me personally, I thought it was going to be something completely different, but once they revealed it, I was like, oh duh, but I still wanted more from it. I feel like they didn't go as far as they could have, and honestly, once the twist revealed itself, I kind of felt like that's when the movie kind of faltered. Now, that's not to say the movie became uninteresting, because again, the performances are what kept me invested in the movie, but again, going back to me feeling like the movie should have been rated R, I kind of feel like it just started to become pretty tame after that. I didn't really feel the sci-fi horror label of the genre. Also in this movie, you have Nolan's best friend, Gary, and he was in this movie a pretty decent amount, but overall, I kind of felt like they didn't really know what to do with the character. Like, they put him in just to have another character that remembered him in his previous life. They kind of had him investigating the circumstances behind the car accident and how he perhaps lost his memory, but overall, his character ultimately amounted to nothing, and he didn't really add anything to the movie. Like, take his character out the movie and you don't lose anything. Overall, I did enjoy this movie. The acting performances were really compelling, and my attachment to the character of Ava made for an emotionally satisfying watch. I will say, on a little weird note, this movie kind of leaves the door open for there to be a sequel, but as the story begins to unfold itself, and then in the way the movie ends, them leaving the door for a sequel doesn't make any sense to me. You know, a horror movie, you gotta leave the door open for a sequel, but not everything has to be sequelized. Like this, it didn't make sense. But I would definitely recommend people check check out Black Box. And I would say that Black Box for me broke a little bit more than even. So the question is, have you guys seen Black Box? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you can, hit that thumbs up button and like this video to really help out the channel. And if this is your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.